What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again this week. Super excited to help another member of the Flip Your Life community and to celebrate some of their recent successes. And I'm excited to talk to our guest today, all the way from Melbourne, Australia.
Got
Michele.
up at 4 a.m.
Got up at 4 a.m. That's dedicated. That's being prolific, guys. That's doing what it takes to win.
It's making it happen.
Michele Hayes, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Shane and Jocelyn. It's quite an honor to talk to you both.
Well, we are really excited that you're here and kind of shocked that you got up at 4 a.m.
Yeah. When we looked at the calendar and Jocelyn looks over at me and goes, wait a minute, she's in Melbourne? I think it's like 4 a.m. there. And I'm like, oh, come on. We could have done better on the scheduling for you here.
Yeah, well, I know how
But
to.
she picked the time, guys. We didn't make her do it. I promise.
So I have a lot of friends in Australia, and I know the time conversion like pretty much instantly because I talk to them so often. So when I saw the time, I was like, oh my goodness, it's so early.
Jocelyn has like a little mastermind, and everyone's in Australia but her in one of the ones that she hangs out with. So it's pretty funny.
Oh, not very friendly for your end, probably.
Yeah, well, we talk late at night, and it's like early in the morning for them, so it works out.
It works out pretty good.
Okay.
So we brought you on today because we noticed that you had a really amazing success story in the community, and we wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. So let's start out. Tell everybody a little bit about you and what you are doing online.
Okay. I have a site for teachers I'll give you a really short background because I could literally be here for hours, so I won't do that. So I started as a teacher, and I used to work as an in-person consultant. I left full-time teaching to do that, and it wasn't my product. It's a great product, but it wasn't my product. And I would actually physically go out to schools and sort of run this wellbeing resource. So, which actually fell sort of in the Catholic education space, but it was a little bit religious education and a little bit well-being, which was, relationships basically. And it was great, and it is great. It still is great. But there were a lot of powers at play that were nothing to do with me that were happening behind the scenes. But the guy I bought it from sold one of the books that they used, like a kid's user book workbook. And he talked about, getting a bit of passive income from that. It was kind of the first time I'd even heard that expression. And schools are dropping off. You probably know what it's like to market to schools, and it could be a little bit tricky sometimes. And because it wasn't mine, I could only convince people so much. And then there were all the other variables at play in politics and things. And so I started one night, I was in bed, and I went, so I have I had two part-time teaching jobs as well to keep the money going, and I was doing relief teaching, and I work in a theatre as well. And I work for a university as a bit of a consultant with pre-service teachers, so I've got a few things going on. And I thought, it'd be really nice to get some money in and not have to physically go and do all this stuff.
Yeah, that would be better than 7 jobs. That would be better.
Yeah.
Yes, Michele, that would be better.
And it's awful. People say, what do you do? I'm like, oh, such a long answer. So, so I looked and I went, how can teachers make passive income online? And ta-da, you turned up, not via Pat Flynn, strangely. I was probably the first person who said that to you. And I found you on the Forbes interview, and I went, oh my gosh, they're teachers. Oh, look at this story. Oh, wow. Oh, I could do this. And here I am.
I love it. I love your enthusiasm too.
Yeah, you're very excited about this. So what is your teacher site about? Is it about the well-being stuff? Is it about something else? Like, what is it about?
It is about well-being. I looked at sort of all the curriculum things and things similar to what you guys did initially, and I thought, and when honestly, it took me probably 6 to 9 months. I remember posting in the forum really early on, going, I'm in the education space, but I could do all these things. What do I do? And people said, look, just get started. What you think it is now is not what it'll turn out to be, and they were so right. I have 2 master's degrees, and one is in music education and the other is in student wellbeing. I also teach Japanese, so I'm like, oh, do I go this way, that way? And I went, I'll just put it out there and start kind of putting out feelers. And then the advantage of working physically with so many people was I started tuning into what people were talking about, their problems were and what they found hard. And I was kind of listening for common themes and asking people questions. And the number one thing that came up was dealing with student behaviour. And I went, okay, well, I know quite a bit about that, and I've made all the mistakes, and so that essentially is what really what I'm about is supporting teachers to equip themselves with the tools that they can minimise their stress within teaching and have better relationships with their colleagues, with their students, with parents, and not leave the profession so quickly.
So that's fascinating, because like that's a crazy marketable pain point. Like, 'cause let me tell you something. I used to have 170 high school juniors a day, and I get it, right? But then you have all of the, different things that you got. There's politics in the school. There's relationships with other teachers. There's, all these things that you have to balance. And this is it's a niche, definitely. It's definitely a niche problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it could be marketed to any teacher group, like easily. Like you could, any teacher could benefit from better well-being and knowing how to manage student problems and knowing how to manage these like all the things that cause you to hate your job and leave the profession. Like, that's the fix, right? So you still like your job and you like the kids and you get to go home without stress every day.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah. And it's not a shortcut fix. It's not as simple as, hey, here's my lesson plan. It requires some self-development. But a lot of people are looking for that anyway.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And everybody's looking for a better day of work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. So let's talk. So what did you start creating? Did you start blogging? Did you start podcasting? Did you start YouTubing? What did you do to start creating content around this? And then the big win that we want to talk about, we actually saw this in the success forums. You got over 1,000 people on your email list, which is an awesome thing. I mean, Jocelyn and I launched our entire online world with 250 people on a list. So you're already 4 times bigger than we are at that stage. You know what I'm saying? And then like now it's even growing. It's like over 1,500, 1,600. It's going toward 2,000 now. So what kind of content are you creating? And then how did you grow that list?
Yes, it's kind of nuts. I started blogging, and I had a really kind of lame Wix website, and I started wanting to do things that I had no idea how to manage the back end of things at all. But I was blogging every week, and and it was about topics like why you don't use rewards with kids, or I wrote one about how important specialist primary teachers are, or elementary in your case. And that kind of went a bit nuts, and people started sort of sharing on other websites, and I did that, and I have a Facebook page, and I love writing, so it's easy, and teachers like reading. I enjoy a lot of them anyway, not all of them. And I thought, I've got a YouTube. I've got 2 really lame videos on YouTube, so they haven't quite taken off yet. So I'm like, I don't actively promote that. And I do want to do a podcast, but I'm like, I suffer very much from the shiny object syndrome.
But you found something that worked, though. You found blogging.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, get out there, take action, and do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then.